Hey YouTube, it's Annabelle. So today I wanted to do a video on our birth plan for baby number 2. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about my daughter's labor and delivery and then talk about how I want things to be different for baby number 2. Okay, so with my daughter's pregnancy, my blood pressure went up the last 2 weeks of my pregnancy and was not coming down. So it was safest to induce. So I was induced 2 days before my due date with her. And so that morning we went into the hospital bright and early and we got hooked up to the monitor that monitors the baby's heart rate and the monitor that monitors contractions, and I got an IV put in. And we filled out a whole bunch of paperwork and answered a whole bunch of questions, and the contraction monitor was already showing that we were having contractions every 5 minutes. So the nurses and my doctor were very positive that the day was going to progress nicely and be very successful. And so that just made me so excited. However, the day did not progress quickly. My water was broken a little bit before 9 o'clock in the morning, and every single time I was checked, there was no progression or very little progression. I did not make it to 4 centimeters until a little bit before 3 o'clock that afternoon, and by that time I was mentally and emotionally exhausted. I was up moving around, I was on a birthing ball. However, I felt horrible. I felt like I was going to throw up. I felt like I was not in control of anything, and I just needed rest and needed a break. I did get an epidural at that time, and it was well deserved. I did need to rest again, mentally and emotionally and physically. So I got the epidural and was able to rest. And my husband had left for to go eat supper around 6 o'clock and to let our dogs out so they could go potty and all that kind of stuff. A half hour later, so in a half hour I went from a 4 to an 8, and then from 6:30 to 7, so in another half an hour I went from an 8 to a 10, ready to push, ready to go. I felt lots and lots of pressure. I started feeling everything. My epidural wore off, so I felt everything, and I was like, this is it. So the doctor, or the nurse, checked me, and she was like, I'm gonna go call the doctor. Well, she brought back the head nurse, and she checked me for a half of a second, like lifted the sheet and was like, we're gonna go call the doctor. So they were scrambling to get everything ready, because since I hadn't had much progression, they thought that I was not going to deliver until the middle of the night. So they were getting everything ready, and by the time the doctor got there, just in time, in 2 pushes, and I did have to get cut. I got a local for that, but I still felt it. And she was out in 2 pushes, and we got to meet our daughter, and it was fabulous. It was the best experience ever. So, based on that experience, how we want things to go differently this time is, first of all, I do not want to be induced. I want this baby to come whenever he or she wants to naturally. Bless you. So whenever he or she wants to make his or her appearance, I would like it to be when the baby chooses. I would like to labor at home as long as possible. I did have my heart set on a water birth. However, my last couple of appointments, my doctor is pretty sure that with the hospital's rules and regulations that that will not be happening. So I did want a water birth to not have to be cut or tear, and I wanted this baby born from one warm environment into another. Say hi. Hi. But since that is most likely not going to happen, I'm just kind of dropping it and moving on. Again, I don't want any unnecessary interventions with this labor and delivery. I am sure that I will be getting an IV. It's always a good thing to have. You don't want them trying to scramble to put in an IV if things go wrong. So it is better if they just do it right away. But as for an epidural, I would like to avoid that this time, and I would definitely like to avoid a C-section as well this time. Or not avoid it as well, since I didn't have one the first time. But I do not want to have a C-section. The thought of that scares me. I don't know how some women elect to have C-sections, because the thought of that and the healing time and all of that just scares me. That is the one part of like labor and delivery and things that still scares me, is the possibility of having a C-section. But yes, so no, you're just being cute, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yes. You got stuff all over your face. But yes, so no unnecessary interventions. I am a lot calmer and more relaxed this time, and I think that that is because, one, I've been there before. Two, I've educated myself on labor and delivery, different births, and all of that stuff. I feel more confident going in this time. And
Nose.
That is Mommy's nose. Good job.
And teeth.
And my teeth. Yeah.
And mouth.
And my mouth.
And tongue.
There's my tongue. But I am hoping for an easier and a quicker labor this time. Hold on. Mommy's almost done. Mommy's almost done. I am hoping for an easier and a quicker labor this time. My doctor is confident that that will be the case. However, you never know. So we are the type of people that do go with the flow, but we do like to plan and prepare as much as possible. So again, hoping for an easier and a quicker labor. However, if it is the exact same as it was with my daughter, with slow progression and having to be induced, I will more than likely be getting an epidural if I am as mentally and emotionally exhausted as I was last time. But yes, so anyways, so that is it. So any questions or comments, leave them below, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.